All right, folks, we are back on the podcast, another episode. We are on the topic, the powerhouse of the future, which is the youth. And I have my very good brother, Abdulaziz, for the second time. And he's been into, journalism for a long time. And we have had a lot of insightful discussions before also related to social media and its impact. And we're going to have something more deeper discussion today. And it's going to be more on young people till the end. Make sure you watch it and share it later on. Today, what's happening is it's very, very confusing. One of the issues is like how to channel our, energy. And it's not just for the youth, it's everyone is facing this. And if I take myself, you know often mostly you will find me comforting myself with prayers and duas, and going for physical or mental maintenance of my own self, nothing more than that. So this is where I feel like a bit of helpless looking at the situation around the world. It's not just about Middle East, it's everywhere now. It's not only about wars or pandemic. There is more than that. Climate change, I don't know. We are discussing very diverse topics everywhere. If you see any channel, any podcast, this is the topic going on nowadays. It's a strange to see that we are talking about climate change and mass destructions of many things, and how it is affecting our whole world and globally. But we really take it lightly when it comes to mass destruction of human beings and all other things. But we are not going to discuss something related to current events which are going to confuse and taking the sides. We are going to discuss something which is going to help us channel our energy once again. So that's why I wanted to know like how young people can drive their energy. Is there any example or individuals you have seen in your circle which gives or makes a positive impact and has really helped during these current events? Have you seen somewhere in your circle or more other than your circle?
Okay. So, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Qazi, thank you so much for inviting me once again. Well, the first example is you yourself. Of course, you're doing a great job inviting brothers to talk about topics that usually are not talked about. We in, let's say in the South Asian community, usually try to brush the topics under the carpet, not talk. Our homes are not that open. So that brings me to the basic question of the family. So we need to change our family, the mindset within the family, not the family structure. Alhamdulillah, we have a good family structure, all very tightly knit, the siblings, the parents, and the extended family. But what we need to change is how these topics are being spoken about, and if they are talked about in the family. We need to be more open with our kids. If you take the example of our early generation, I'll say like my parents. If there was an issue, let's say related to, be very honest with you, puberty or maybe marriage, we used to be hushed up, said, this is not the time for you to talk about, or we couldn't find the right place or the right person to talk to. But with my kids, I speak to them about these things. Age appropriate, of course.
Right.
You have to keep that in mind, that you do not suddenly overwhelm them with information if they're not in that particular age. But as they grow and as the changes happen in their lives, you pick the topics. Father, mother, see, the father and mother have to come with a scripted plan. It is not only one parent's responsibility. Okay. So when you actually have a, let's say, a well-written plan, I'm not saying that you write it down, but the thing that you think about the what you need to tell your children if they have questions. And the children today, they ask a lot of questions.
Right.
Okay, and it's right for them to ask questions. You don't just tell them not to ask those questions, but you encourage them and you give them the replies. Okay, so the family needs to overhaul itself, okay, as we go forward.
Mm-hmm.
We are the remnants of the previous generation,
Right.
okay.
Right.
So some of our the people in my age group, they're still stuck between the older generation and the newer generation, and finds it confusing when their kids come up with the questions. So we need to educate ourselves first. Once you are educated, once you are aware, it's when you can create or instill those things in your kids, because everything is open now. Okay, even if you hide things from your children, it's easy for them to just open the phone and get the answers. But those answers could be wrong, could be not age appropriate, could be by people who mean harm for those kids. And I'm not talking about teens, I'm talking about even the youth.
Yeah.
Okay. The maturity, as technology has seeped into our life, okay, it's pervasive now. I see that the maturity level of youth has decreased, unfortunately. Surprisingly, I mean, it should have been the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as you are open to more information, you should be more mature. But it seems that it's quite the opposite. That's a complicated issue. One needs to, and it could be argued on many fronts. And not that I'm correct in what I say, but that's how it is. Yeah. So when we talk about events that are in our society, whether it's the current event that's happening in this region, or it's events that are happening personally in our lives, related to career, related to, let's say, marriage, related to issues at your home, we have always had that. There was not a time when we didn't have those issues.
So who comes to your mind when, like, if I want to have an example today?
From the top of my head, Muhammad Hijab is one that comes. Okay, the guy has taken on some great and smart people. Okay, and debated them. Okay, talked about issues that usually, unfortunately, scholars shy away from. Things that had to be discussed by people who are more senior than him in age and knowledge. However, when there's a void, then people like him, you, have to step in. Have to step in, right? So, and then, of course, there is a chance of mistakes.
Of course.
Okay. Well, what do? You have to decide between, there's an option between doing things and making mistakes or not doing it at all. So what I would say, I take that chance.
Yeah.
I do the things even if I make mistakes. At least I do not leave that void. Why? Because if you leave that void, you can confuse more youth, and they're going to fall astray, and they can go the other way. That is dangerous for us, okay? For us to keep them closer to our faith, we need people who can speak about issues.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we will lose our youth to a lot of things, majorly, or namely one of them is extremism, okay? This is something that, comes back and hurts our societies, okay? When they come with either those extreme thoughts, or even militancy for that matter, which disturbs the peace of society. Right. Why have they reached that point? It's something that we need to ask ourselves. We do not ask that this guy has come with extreme thoughts. The first question should be, why has he come with the extreme thoughts, and what led him to take that path? Okay, for example, you go to a doctor, and you say, I have a recurring headache, and the doctor doesn't ask you your history, doesn't check your vitals, and just gives you a pill, an aspirin, a paracetamol, and just sends you away. And that's not going to end your problem. What you would want is a smart doctor or a doctor who cares, is that he checks everything and say, okay, yeah, this is the issue. Your migraine or your headache is because of a certain thing.
Right.
Okay. I do not want that firefighting to be done. Exactly. I want the solution to be tackled right at the grassroots, right at the base, right at the origin. This is not This is not happening. This is something that has really disturbed everyone, including, it's not only the youth, it is disturbing everyone.
Yes.
Okay. Because when the youth are disturbed, they're going to disturb the generation.
They get influenced for wrong things.
Exactly. The influence moves on. It's like a trigger, a chain reaction. It triggers everything. So then again, because who is a youth? Who is a person? He's a son, a brother of someone. Means he's part of a family.
Yeah.
The parents,
Starts from
it starts
the
from
family.
there.
Yeah.
Okay. But if the parents are not aware, I'm not talking about education, by the way.
Yes.
Degrees
It's not
do matter,
education and all.
but it means more than that. Awareness, having the knowledge about your religion, about your faith. Okay, having strong belief that is essential to us as Muslims. We can't let go of that. Okay, no matter how much we say that degrees is enough, this is more important. Okay.
Yeah.
But at the same time, of course, we need modern education to excel, to advance, to progress. Societies need that. So what we need to do is focus on a wholesome personality that has both the deen and the dunya. Okay, parents tend to unfortunately focus on one and leave the other. There are
Right.
very few families I know who focus on both the parts, and this is very essential. Okay, if you focus a lot on faith, all you do is you raise a dysfunctional person who cannot
Face the
function in
real
this
world.
society.
Yeah.
Okay, he's going to fall into anxiety. Why? Because he's not going to find a job or a career.
Yes.
Okay, you can't tell him be content with what you have. It's not easy. Okay, the reality of life is that you need 2 square meals to live. Okay, you need money to survive. When you get married, responsibilities add on. Okay, on the other side, you have this person who has studied the conventional education, the secular education. Okay, he is devoid of faith. He all he runs after is the dunya. Okay, what happens is that he cannot achieve too much of it. No one can. In the end, he's also going to get depressed,
Right.
and anxious. Okay, so the focus is, and I'm going to emphasize this again and again, is that me and you, okay, now that we are raising our families, okay, we need to set examples.
Yeah.
Okay, and raise kids who are wholesome, who can have this leadership in both. For example, it's simple. You need a khatib. Here's this guy who wears a tie, can do the khutbah. Okay. You need a person who can lead an organization. He's a person, a sound Muslim who knows the basics of business.
Yes.
Okay, halal business. He can lead the organization. Why can't we have that? Why do we have to say that you should fit in that bracket in only the religion, and you should be only that? We need a wholesome person. And see, the Sahabas, when they took on Khilafah, they became statesmen.
Yeah.
Okay, when they at the same time they gave fatwas, so they were scholars at the same time.
Yeah.
And they counsel. They were counselors.
Right.
They learned it from whom? Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, who was everything. Okay, when it came to war, they were the best of warriors. When it came to peace, they were the best of peacemakers.
Yes.
Nowadays we have that confusion, and the confusion is from within ourselves. We have confused each other. We have divided ourselves into so much. I'm not talking about sectarianism. That, of course, is I call it a menace. But it's beyond that. It's beyond that. Everyone thinks that he's the best and he knows best, and what his method is the best method. The ability to accommodate people is gone. I cannot accommodate your thoughts because it clashes with mine. Unless you submit to my thoughts, my whatever I say, you're wrong. That needs to go away.
Yeah, maybe is it because of the chaos we see all around? Because there is no focus, right? And there is no leader, at global level. There is no direction for us to focus. And if there is no focus, this is the key. And if the focus is not there, I don't see anybody staying together, united. It's gonna be like, again, chaos inside.
Yeah, exactly.
Take out example where we have seen Arab Spring happen.
Yeah.
And the result of that is like division and good people. We have lost so many good people because of some reason, and there is total chaos back there. Is it because of social media or new technology, or is it part of propaganda? I don't know. It's like so much confusion.
See, Qazi, it's complicated. You can't just pinpoint on one problem and say that,
Exactly.
this is the issue, because as complicated beings that we are, the systems that we devise are complicated as well.
Exactly.
Or makes
System,
them
man.
complicated. Okay.
Yes.
Now I'm going to give an example about the Muslim world. There's a part of the Muslim world that is well off, and there's a part of the Muslim world, or let's say most parts of the Muslim world, are not well off. Okay, they struggle for 2 meals, square meals.
Yeah.
Okay, this part that's well off is living its life as if there is no other life. Not that they believe. I'm just saying it as an example. And the other part is just struggling to make make both ends meet.
Yeah.
What I would suggest is, if we connect these two and give them a common cause, they identify the problems in that society, okay, and that society is raised to the level where they don't feel miserable about themselves. Because if you are financially weak, okay, and all around you there are no opportunities. When a youth comes out of college or university, the first thing it does is a job. Okay. Now, when you live in a society that's, let's say, doesn't allow you so many opportunities, or it's corrupt, where you actually do not have a meritocracy, okay, then you're going to get frustrated.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You're going to feel miserable for yourself. People are going to pinpoint, say, what have you done having studied so much? These are actual examples that I personally have gone through, and I know people have gone through, and I don't wish them upon anyone. That phase of frustration and anxiety and depression, when
basically we are firefighting, like you said before.
we need to find a permanent solution.
There is no solution. Yeah.
We need to give them common cause. The common cause is that we need to teach our youth empathy, compassion, and working for society. Give them a common cause. Don't say that, since I have a full belly and I sleep at night, having fulfilled everything, it means that everyone is well off. No, there are parts of society that actually need, even within rich societies, there are going to be some members who actually struggle to live. Okay, it's for you to go out and find those people and help them. If they're not in your societies, go around and look for people elsewhere. Don't tell me that there's no one in the Muslim world that doesn't require. Look at Africa. Look at South Asia. Look at Central Asia. Okay, there are people who require that. We are bound by regimes and systems around us. Okay, we have to be very wise when take those steps. We can't be brash in our judgments. Okay,
Right.
We have those blockheads around us, and when we do that, we know that we will be stopped. So why not you take it easy and solve whatever you can solve? What you do is, they take the problem that is very hard to solve and try to solve it, and when they can't solve it, they get frustrated. The easy problem is, go for the low hanging fruit. Start with your own society. Okay, you can do fundraising for people who do not have food, for fundraising people who need medical aid. Okay, there's so many people who struggle to find medicines for their kids, rents, for example. Many examples. Okay, and then you go out and build community centers. I'll give you example. What we have done is that, alhamdulillah, me and my group of friends, we have managed to build a couple of mosques in Niger. And those mosques are just not buildings. They're community centers. They bring together people from at least 4 to 5 villages within a radius of a couple of kilometers.
Wow.
Every mosque has a well. They come, their animals take water from it. They take water for their own homes. Their community issues, if they have any disputes, are solved. The very purpose of a mosque, it's a community center, right?
Okay.
Do not restrict it to just 5 prayers 5 times a day, or the Salat al-Jum'ah or the Eidain. That, of course, is the basic tenet of our faith, that we can't leave. But more than that, so you find, so alhamdulillah, what Allah has led us, I'm not saying that we are geniuses. I'm just saying that what Allah has led us, this mosque is just more than a building, right? And then
proper community center
proper community center that connects everyone and
brings together.
Exactly. And I'm going to give you another example of wells. People are very fast to say, I want to build a well for my deceased, let's say, sadaqah jariyah. We do not discourage them, but we tell them, why don't you build a school? Okay. When you build a school, you know how many people are going to benefit? You're fishing, you're teaching people to fish.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right?
Right.
So, but they said, is that a sadaqah? I said,
come on.
It's because see the hadith are a few things of sadaqah, right? Yeah, well, teaching people the Quran and building the masajid.
Yeah.
But those were the things of that
time. Yeah.
Time. But the sadaqah is everything, right?
Yeah.
It's the hadith says that even when the horn is blown,
it's like a network effect.
It is, yes, exactly. Do something that can
10
have
people will open the school. Imagine you open for a school for 10 people, and those 10 people opening a school in the future.
It's a chain effect. It's a chain effect. We have seen people who have actually done. I know people in Pakistan who have grown through those schools and now have schools of their own. Okay. So when they realized that this was something that someone had actually spent his time, his energy, his money on me, why can't I convert this and teach other kids as well? So that chain effect grows. Right. So these are things that we need to think about. So it's
see, I see this like we have been taught this opening about massages and community centers, and we youth, and I consider for now, like at least for now I am like part of youth circle still, but it's but still if you see like it's limited to uncles, oldies, they will do only. No, why not, Yani? Why not you think about it, like long term sadaqah jariyah, which is already happening, and we see these videos, by the way. You see these videos on TikTok, Instagram. I get forwards always like, okay, these many masajids were done and wells are done and everything is done. But it's like, again, it's like, only those trend happening and we stop there.
Exactly, yeah. Limited trends.
Just to, prayer and just to get things done. That's it. But are you being a part of that, going there, staying with them?
Yes, true.
Giving your time also. This is not happening. If you see the stars, even if they are showing off, I don't know.
Exactly.
They're near.
We can't judge people's intentions.
We don't know.
Exactly, yes.
At least they are going there.
True.
There's so many organizations, so many podcasts.
You've given me a very good point to think about. Why not, these youth, when they have some time, if they have, let's say, school vacations or maybe university vacations, travel to Africa.
Yes.
Travel to the country that is least challenged, so that at least you don't challenge yourself, because I don't expect you to go there and then suffer of heat stroke, of lack of food. There are actual challenges. Yeah. But you go with people who organizations that are on the ground there and spend some volunteering work, so that you realize that there are people who actually are lesser off than you.
Yeah.
Okay. And they need you.
Yes.
And it opens
it's not just about money
and you thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what you have. See, the hadith is very clear, and which one of the many hadith that changed my life, and maybe I've mentioned this before, is that I was in university when I read this, is that and I'm paraphrasing, of course, قال عليه الصلاة والسلام أو كما قال, that when you have in ilm, in knowledge, look at those who have more knowledge than you, so that you aspire for more, gaining more knowledge. And in the dunya, look at those who who are lesser than you, so that you're thankful for what you have.
Exactly.
Okay, so that keeps you content, but at the same time, it gives you that motivation to learn more, to do more. So the youth need to be exposed. These organizations, some of these organizations, these social welfare organization, whether it's Muslim Hands or Islamic Relief or these global organizations, doing a fantastic job.
Right.
But when you look at the pictures, you see that most of their people who volunteers are all old people. Hardly do you find. We need them to tell youth, okay, we find sponsors for them within the community. They need to go to people the people who have, we're taking a group of youth this summer to somewhere in Africa, South Asia, okay? Not conflict zones where we want them to get hurt, but in areas where they can come and they learn. Let them enjoy, at the same time learn, that there are people who are actually looking forward to your help. So this is something that can be done. So there are so many ways that we can, the more we talk about, like this point just came across when you brought it up. So the more we open, the more we discuss, is that the more we think out loud is that we get to the solutions.
Right.
Yeah. Introspection, whether it's within yourself or with people like you or any others, talk about, say, what could be the solution?
Yes.
These are the problems. What could be the solution? Yeah. And alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you take one.
Just don't feel helpless just sitting there. And there are solutions. If there are problems, there are solutions.
Yeah, Rasulullah ﷺ said is that, it's better for me to walk with my brother to serve his need than to be secluded in this mosque, pointing at his mosque. And like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Hadith Qudsi said, when I was sick, where were you? When I was hungry, where are you? And he's asked, how can you be hungry? How can you be sick? Okay. And the answer was that when my slave was sick, did you go and see him? When he was hungry, did you go and feed him? So these are the things that we need to come. There are so many examples. In addition to the 5 major basic tenets, the social life of Islam is so beautiful,
right?
That if you start digging, you say, okay, I am so deficient in these. I pray my salawat, but this is also very needed.
This is a part of
it is part. That's how society grows. Your salah is between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay,
there are many roles also.
Exactly, but we human beings we say that we are social beings. We cannot disassociate ourselves from other human beings. Mostly, and especially human beings, especially Muslims, okay, where we are told that you are the best of ummah, who enjoins other people towards good and forbids evil. Right. What is that? Is that only salah? Is that only saum zakah? That, of course, you're going to bring people to those basic things. But in addition, it is your personality that first of all affects someone. Right. Before you even open your mouth to say Allah is one. He's going to look at you and say, this guy has a very good character. Where did you learn that? Okay, this guy is helping people. Where did you get that from?
Yeah.
So it is also a form of da'wah. It is a very strong form of da'wah. Honestly, It's a very strong form of da'wah. If you look at it, if you bring that intention, if they bring that, you will feel so satisfied and you would want to actually increase that. When we started, there were challenges.
Yeah.
But as we grew, brothers like you joined us, and we got help from subhanallah. It's we didn't even expect help to come. You have had those examples when you did your own events, mashallah. It's like getting sponsors,
it's like magical. Yeah.
Exactly, it happens. Why? Because you see, if you have sincerity at heart, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to help from you. Exactly, He's going from the ghaib, you're going to get the help. So those are the things that the faith is there, but you need to have a plan. You need to have a strong plan. Without the plan, it's not going to work out. It's going to fizzle out.
Yes.
Consistency is one. Okay. That Rasulullah said a Muslim is one who does, when he does something, he does it with consistency.
Yes.
Okay. And fulfills it. Yeah. We need to do that. Don't start something half-heartedly. Otherwise, when you do that, the repercussions of that is that you're going to harm the cause more than you do good to it. So you first think about this and say, this is something that I need to do.
Yeah.
Think it out. Have a vision. Okay. This is where I start. This is where I need to end. Okay. Or at least, and leave a system, a legacy behind you, so that when you leave this world, eventually everyone's going to, so they pick from where you have left.
Right.
Okay. So the system needs to be in place as well.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Maybe, the distractions or, thinkers or any brothers face, that's the reason which is, stopping them, Now, if I talk about distraction, it's maybe the point where even I discussed with one of the brothers, if you know Sheikh Farid Yani. Like he says, it's apathy. We don't feel it, yani, disinterested.
True, very true.
That's the reason maybe we are not really, ready to choose something which is helpful. Yeah, if you look at the picture of the Renaissance time also, they had arts and science, but still they were taking up both arts and science together, yani.
Yes.
Now it's like you choose only art
Oh God, man.
or science.
Tell me about it.
What the hell, yeah.
Yeah.
So there is so much distraction when it comes to those things. Not able to decide and not interested in doing things. It's strange. Strange.
See, the distractions can take different forms. One is the external distraction. It could be the environment around you, could be the people who are interfering in your lives.
But if you see, I mean, who is interfering now? Everybody is secluded in a way that it's not even for the faith. Not even for
So like I said, that this is one form of distraction, and I'm talking. See, generally, maybe you have one form of distraction, and I have another form of distraction. The internal distraction could be the thoughts that keep on interfering. That's also a distraction. The biggest distraction these days is the digital distraction. Yeah. You have so much around you, the devices, that you can't let go of them, and they keep on distracting you. Okay, and then you have the emotional distractions. Stress, anxiety, depression. That's all. They're all catching up with us. Okay, so different people have different distractions. We need what we need is we need emotional intelligence. We need to improve that part. And what is emotional intelligence? Of course, it's understanding your emotions and others' emotions. Okay. What you said about Sheikh Farid is apathy.
Yeah.
You need to convert that apathy to empathy.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's when I understand you better. Right. Not it's the difference between sympathy and empathy is when you understand someone's feelings. That's empathy. But when you pity him, that's sympathy. Why you do not need someone to pity you. You need someone to understand you. Okay. Because it's condescending when you say, you sympathize with someone. You need to encourage him. You need to bring, tap on his shoulder and say, I'm with you. Yeah. I understand your issues. Okay. So that is lacking.
Really, Yani, there is a very bad distinction on, apathy, empathy, and even sympathy.
It's easy these days. You have so many courses online. Pick some of those courses, do those courses, keep on developing yourself. People do not develop themselves. They stop at their undergraduate or graduate degrees. They say, okay, fine, I've studied. As human societies evolve, you need to evolve yourself as well. You need to study more. You need to, those are small courses, it's like a friend of ours says, a senior friend of mine, he said that it is a crime for someone to not learn these days because it is free, okay, or it's dirt cheap, okay, and there's so many courses and so many materials out there that you can actually learn from. There was a time when you actually had to pay hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to get that. Nowadays, you get that course sometimes even for free.
$10.
There are some people who actually do that for
free.
For free.
Yes.
That is their welfare for humanity. And I'm talking across the board, not Muslim, non-Muslim. Everyone does it, so that others can benefit. Why not do that?
But again, I have to interrupt you because unwanted distractions are like mosquitoes in summertime. It's like it's so much noise out there.
Yeah,
so much of marketing tactics and tricks where it's not for you, but you still go for it, and it's not required for you, but you choose for that. So at this situation, even if you suggest like that, you go for course, they don't know which course to take firstly.
Well, then again, then see, like I said, it's complicated. It's complicated. This is a very simplistic example that I gave, and maybe I oversimplified it.
Yeah.
And you're right. To tell someone go for a course, and when they do not know about the course, that's going to confuse them even more. A societal overhaul is required where we need people and institutions that can guide people, other people. It's without guidance, when you tell someone said everything's in front of you, go, and it's like a buffet. You go to the buffet and you get so confused that you just fill your plate and you leave half your plate and you're done. Okay.
Right.
You waste that. That's the same with technology these days. Everything is so ample. Okay. It is a crisis of choices that you get confused and you do nothing. So that multitasking is also a problem, by the way. So my mentor, when I started journalism, he told me one thing, and he told me in Urdu, but I'm going to translate that in English. And he said that if you want to do a lot in life, do one thing. So my question was, what is a one thing? I said, that's anything.
Yeah.
Just do one thing, do it properly.
Do it properly. Yeah.
Do it properly. Do not get distracted, okay? You first have to decide. Focus, yeah. You first need to decide. If you can't decide, go to someone who knows. There definitely is going to be people around you. People come to you, said, and you judge them, or you gauge their abilities and said, I think this is what's good for you, okay? Or you give them 2-3 options, okay? And they decide, okay? In our times, there was no career counseling. We made mistakes. We do not want our youth to make those mistakes.
Yeah. That's the reason we are here today.
Exactly, yeah. So one career choice is there. Marriage is another issue. Brings me back again to the main thing, family, okay? Unless we have families that are wholesome and stable. I'm not talking poor families or rich families. I'm talking about families that are wholesome in thought, okay? Right. Your financial situation, your worldly situation can change. You're rich today, God forbid you lose money. You're poor today, alhamdulillah, you can always make that. This is part of dunya, right? But that thing should always remain with you, okay? So me as an educated parent, my parents were not educated, but they tried to give me the best of education, whatever they thought was best, within their own meager means. Now, alhamdulillah, okay, I can teach my kids, let's say in better schools, in a better way, okay? If I go a step backward and say I'm going to do the same thing as my parents did, that's going to be injustice to my kids. I need to be a step forward ahead of what my parents did, because that is what education should do to you. You should be progressing, not going backwards. Okay, so these youth, okay, the parents have a very big responsibility. What has bygones are bygones. Do not bring that up. I shouldn't be bringing up the lacking or the shortcomings that my parents had when they were bringing us up, because they did not know. But if I do the same thing to my kids, then that's going to be a failing on my part.
Yes.
Failing on your part, failing on people like us. So right. we need to actually
every child is like a project.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Like
yes.
First priority project.
Our families need to get developed.
Yes.
Better than the families in the previous generation, and the generation that come after them should be even better. So that's the way you need to progress. See, it's all about the mindset. You have a good mindset, you have a progressive mindset within the confines of your faith. It's good. Our faith, we're like an atom. The nucleus is our faith. We are like the electrons that revolve around things. Yeah. We should not break away. Otherwise, what happens to unstable nucleus? It's like an atomic explosion. So our faith has given us that basic, that tethered us to the core. But they have given us so much room to wander around.
Yeah,
faith does not stop you from doing things. Alhamdulillah, I say Islam is the most progressive faith, and I say this with a challenge, because I have learned from my faith. Okay, people say that Islam holds you back. Some of them who have fallen astray or fallen, let's say, misguided by the thoughts of some other people. I say you're wrong. It hasn't stopped me. My wife is still studying. My kids are still studying. Okay, so why can't we be modern Muslims? Modern, not by letting go of our faith. Modern can be many different things. You can have the best car. You can have the best education. You can wear the best clothes. You can speak the best of languages. Okay. You're still modern, right? You can have the beauty, the the best of table manners, sip tea like an English person does, and still be a good person.
Yeah.
Right? A good Muslim.
Right.
Islam doesn't stop you. In fact, Islam encourages you
to be good.
On how many ayah do you have to ponder on, upon the stars and what Allah has created and the day and night.
So much there.
There's so much. There's so much. Yeah, we have no excuse except for our laziness. That's the only one. We should be blaming ourselves. We can't blame anyone but ourselves.
Because all I need distraction is you go. Let's start from if you remember World War II things.
Yeah.
I feel like the propaganda stuff started from there. This topic is like really, really like, and it need to be discussed. I don't think someone like you who is from the background of journalism and know very well about how it works.
Yeah. Misinformation, disinformation.
How the governments used posters, those days.
They still do that, yeah.
It's illusion, yani. It's like they're just creating some kind of, trick.
Yeah.
That's why we have to keep praying for that, not to take us away from deen, this is one of my dua every day, every time. Like, what do you say? This is so important for me. Like, yes. I always feel like I'm going away.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
So you moment to moment, man. So maybe that is the problem, because that's one of the, troublemaker in the room, man.
Well, see, Qazi, the thing is, like I said in the beginning, it's complicated. It's not just one thing.
Yeah.
Propaganda.
Maybe
every system tries to control its subjects. There's not a single regime in this world, Muslim or non-Muslim, that doesn't want to control its subjects. Sometimes it is good to maintain peace in society, but generally it is to further their own agendas. Okay, and propaganda was not at World War II. Propagandas have been since
the beginning.
Exactly, since the beginning of humanity.
Planned.
Exactly, the well-planned, the very scripted propagandas. Exactly,
400 years thing.
Yes, exactly, and they keep and unfortunately we
are just taking it lightly.
Exactly, and no, we are using it on our own people. By the way, we're using the same techniques, the same tactics on our people. See, not to get very controversial, but what I'm saying is that propaganda exists, okay, and it's very hard for a common man to wade through that confusion. It's a swarm that is filled with alligators and and piranhas, okay, and the moment you step into that, you'll be eaten by these creatures. How do you do that?
So how do you counter those misinformations and this big elephant in the room? Anything which you have tried?
We in journalism, when a news comes to us, we look for various sources.
Yes.
Okay.
Verify it.
We verify it. We see if this is from one source. That source could be wrong. Okay. We try to verify from people who know.
There are tools.
There are tools as well.
Find out.
But the problem is not that. The problem is that we are confirming our own biases. It's not that propaganda is being shoved down your throat. It's because this propaganda meets my agenda, so I'm going to believe it. Objectivity is lost. When I'm objective, and when you come to me with something, even though I know you, even though you're a brother that I love, I will still
use it
confirm.
For your benefit. Yeah,
I'm going to still confirm. وَإِذَا جَاءَكُمْ فَاسِقٌ بِنَبَإٍ فَتَبَيَّنُوا. It was a companion who actually brought that wrong news and fake news, and the Rasulullah ﷺ was about to go and wage war against a tribe. You get it? Yeah. So, and he was called Fasiq, right? So you need to understand that if I'm getting fake news or I'm spreading fake news, am I doing service to humanity or disservice? Definitely it's the second one. You're doing disservice.
Yes.
You're confusing people and you're creating fitna amongst them. And the Quran says, "Al-fitnatu ashaddu min al-qatl." The fitna is stronger, or let's say worse than murder, because it leads to so much strife. Okay, you talked about the Arab Spring. People on both sides, advocates on this side, advocates on this side. But it actually disrupted a lot of societies.
Right.
And we see the
Destroyed.
same societies still in chaos. Okay. So when there's peace in a society, okay, and you know that there needs to be a change, you need to be wise to bring about the change. You can't just wage war against a system and create more problem than solving it. Okay. Again, it brings us back to the same thing. But the youth want a change. So you need to tell them, listen, this is a change that is good. This is a change that has to wait. Not all change that comes at the same time. The tolerance and the patience of the youth, you need to instill that, because they are beaming with energy, right?
Yes.
And they think that, they're so, let's say, full of emotions that they think that they can move
I call it
mountains.
powerhouse, yeah.
Exactly, they can move mountains. And
Yes.
indeed, youth is a big power.
Powerhouse, yeah.
Regimes have used this, or let's say groups have used this same power to disrupt,
Yes.
and this same power has brought about major changes. So it all depends on who is using it. And propaganda, of course, is going to be, it's always going to be there. Okay. How do you go about it is you have to be very, very careful. Earlier we used to have the legacy media. Not all legacy media was correct, but the problem was with the legacy media, you had a few outlets where you know that the news is going to come from only these places. Now you are like BBC, I'm like BBC, okay, the other person like CNN. Everyone who has a phone, who has a mic, TikTok influencers, okay, who are actually bad influencers, honestly. These influencers just to earn a few bucks.
Yes.
They're going to spread misinformation, disinformation.
Can do anything.
Yeah. So we need to be very careful of who we listen to. Okay. I listen to so many people, but I don't spread those videos, because I do not know who's going to be listening at the other end. Could be someone who has an impressionable
Doesn't
mind.
have any comprehension power.
Doesn't have any comprehension. So I listen to them, decipher it, okay, and then I make it easy, bite-sized information, and tell people if I need to. Otherwise, every person thinks that he's smart, so he doesn't need people like me. But the thing is that it's chaotic. Undoubtedly, it's chaotic. It's not easy for us journalists either. We find it very hard to sometimes verify news. But the thing is that we're very careful. We just don't give it out just because more people have said it. Okay, the mashhoor hadith is not all. Doesn't necessarily have to be the correct hadith.
Yeah.
Okay. You find a lot of hadiths that do the rounds in society, right?
Yes.
And they say, well, if everyone is saying it must be true. I said, no, that's not a parameter.
That's
Our parameter is asnad.
Yes.
Okay. We look at the books, if it has been authenticated or not. You could do that for the news as well. Why rush?
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, you're confirming your bias. You rush because it meets your agenda and you want to spread it as fast as possible. And you are in race with other people. You have your own YouTube channel. I want this news to be out before my competitor has it, without even checking that if it's true or not. So you have to be very, very careful. Yeah.
I like how Imran Khan stopped one of the wars, maybe between India and Pakistan. There was a political move, and one of the firefighting jets
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
fell in Pakistan.
Yes.
It was, and it just 1 year before the elections.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like most of them understood like what's happening and why it's happening.
Yes.
But look at Imran Khan. How
He sent back the pilot. Yeah.
he just stopped what's gonna happen. Yeah, it was just planned for a big war. Maybe someone like him is a good example. I don't know.
Not even a good example. He's an anomaly, honestly. In this day and age,
today's day,
you don't find such leaders. And look what's
happening.
The Pakistani system or the nation has done.
And I like the idea which you came up with. Like if you are well versed, go find out someone who is not doing well. If it's like top countries stand up for Pakistan and help them. it would be like a great move, you know.
See, not to focus too much on Pakistan, because Pakistan is one of, let's say,
Examples, you know,
yeah,
for
more
chaos.
than 50 Muslim
Yes.
countries. What I'm saying is that Pakistani nation needs to help. Every nation needs to help itself. Okay, charity begins at home.
Yeah.
There's a lot of potential in every country. Every Muslim country has potential. The Muslim youth is younger than the other youth of other countries. Okay, they have a lot of potential. The systems that govern them are corrupt. Okay, they did try. Imran Khan. See
Why I chose, I'll tell you. It's not because Pakistan is the only country which is we are taking it just for a sake. The way propaganda worked. Let's say I'll give you example. Malala is one of the propaganda for me, Annie.
You can call it a tool of propaganda.
Yeah. Recent video made so much. It's upsetting to see such people even talking about supporting both sides, and I can't just imagine like how they are using these people as a tool. Same way, why not they promote someone like Abdul Sattar Eidi?